Imagine waking up every single morning to a fresh list of people who just publicly said they need exactly what you sell. Not cold leads, not people who might be interested, actual business owners that just publicly said, I need help with this, please reach out to me. Their email address is right there, their company matches your ideal customer profile, and AI already scored how likely they are to buy from you. You didn't search for them, you didn't do anything, they just showed up in your inbox while you were asleep. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, today I'm going to show you exactly how to set up this exact system in about 10 minutes. And stick with me till the end because I will even show you how to automate the email outreach after you found those people automatically. So here's the reality of finding leads for any high-ticket service. For every 100 business owners that you're targeting and reaching out to, only 2 or 3 might be actively looking for what you offer. They're the one posting right now on LinkedIn saying stuff like, oh, I need a new website for my startup, or looking for someone to handle my SEO, or can anyone recommend me a video editor? Those people are gold. They're ready to buy. But the problem is you have no way of knowing when they post. And by the time you find them manually, someone else has already closed the deal. So instead, what people tend to do is blasting hundreds of leads, spraying and praying that they catch one of them at the right moment and that they get back to them. But there's a better way. So what I'm going to show you today is how to build a system that monitors this post in real time, filters out anyone who doesn't match your ideal customer, uses AI to score how relevant each post is, and hands you the verified email of each qualified lead automatically every single day. And then I will show you exactly how to write cold email outreach that actually closes those people. So let's get into it. So the tool we're going to use today for that is findemail.com. Findemail is basically a B2B data provider. So they enrich email, phone numbers, company data. If you sign up, you can see all the features right there. But the one that are going to be interesting for us today for this video is the one called signals. So if we pause here for a sec, a signal is basically a behavior expressed by a specific lead that correlates with a higher intent to buy a specific product or service. So basically, if you think about it, it's all the things where you're like, okay, if this person has done X, then they're more likely to be interested in XYZ than the average person. So let's take a random example. If I participate actively in a running community and that I'm constantly complaining about the quality of my shoes, then I'm much more likely to buy a new pair of running shoes tomorrow than the average person. So you've just seen in this example that for a signal to be effective, it's best if the signal is very specific to the product or service that you're selling. That's what makes it effective, because a generic signal won't be as effective. And so using those signals and building lists that way is much more effective than a traditional way of building lists just based on demographics and firmographics and blasting everyone whose job title is XYZ with company size between X and Y. So let's show you exactly how this works. So on Find Email, you go to the Signals tab here, and you're gonna have different signals available. And the one we're gonna use today is the one called Keyword Mention. And it's basically a signal that listens to specific keywords mentioned in such a post on LinkedIn. And so the way we're gonna make that effective is by cleverly picking the right keywords that someone in need of our service might use on a LinkedIn post. So let me show you an example. So I click Keyword Mention, and here I can enter a specific keyword that I want someone to be posting about. So let's say I am a freelancer video editor and I need some contracts. I need some leads that are looking for video editing services. Well, one way I might be able to find those leads is by monitoring keywords such as video editor and hiring, for example. And so what this will do is match all the LinkedIn posts that have those 2 keywords, so video editor and hiring, in there and highlight them to me. But this can work for a different niche, and depending on the product services, you want to pick specific keywords that are relevant and will be different. So you need to adjust there depending on your product and service. So let's say I'm not a video editor anymore. Let's say I'm selling SEO services. Well, maybe someone would say, I need help with SEO. So maybe maybe it won't be like I need help with SEO exactly, but you know, just play around with different combination of words. So the best way here is just playing with different keywords and see what kind of posts show up. One way is also just first looking up manually to see what you find, even if that historical posts, just to validate that your keyword ideas are interesting, and then build a signal so that you get the future posts that get posted. All right, so we've got your keyword set up now. So for this example, let's take the video editor one. So video editor, hiring. But if you stop there, you will have a bunch of posts that are completely irrelevant. But there's one more layer you can use in FindEmail that honestly blew my mind the first time I've been able to use it. And it's the AI scoring. So the AI scoring box here lets you actually tell the AI what makes a post relevant for you or not. And so in our example of video editing, if I type video editor and hiring, the issue is I will encounter lots of posts of people wanting to hire video editor as a full-time position. But that's not what I want. I'm a freelancer. I want contracts. I want projects. I don't want a new job. I don't want to be full-time employed. And so the way I would filter that here is I would type a post is relevant for me if the author is hiring for a freelancer / contractor for video editing. Posts is not relevant for me if the author is looking to hire only for full-time position. And so what this will do is just score every post to make sure it is exactly what I'm looking for. But if we stop there again, we'll still have a bunch of irrelevant leads because it will match all the possible leads regardless of your ideal customer profile. But I might not be interested in working for different companies. For example, I might be specializing into working with small companies or large companies, or I can maybe only work for specific countries. And so what you need there is apply specific filters on the leads themselves too, because otherwise, you know, I might, as a freelance video editor, maybe I'm just not equipped to work with a corporate of 10,000 employees, or maybe it's the opposite. And so how you do that on FindEmail automatically is use the audience filter here. And so what I can do here is just apply some filters that will narrow the audience of the post here to just show me the posts that are super relevant for me. So let's say I want to work only for like relatively small to medium companies. So let's say between 1 and 500 employees, but I don't want to work with companies larger than that. Then that's how I would set it up. I would set up the company size like that. And I can filter for other attributes. I can filter for the industry. I can filter through the countries, and I can also do the same thing on the contact level if it makes sense. So I can filter on the job title. So let's say I only want to work with like a marketing department, for example, or seniority level. So here I would only typically work with like director level or above to make sure I'm dealing with the decision maker. As mentioned previously, the signal and its associated configuration needs to be super specific based on your product and services. That's why I'm only doing an example here, but since you're likely selling something completely different, then you will need to adjust based on your own offer there. But none of that actually matters if you can't reach out to those people. And so that next step is actually the crucial step that will save you a lot of time, and it's email enrichment. So if you click next here on the enrichment tab, you can select the contact enrichment settings, and you can select so that you automatically enrich every single lead that match your ICP with contact information, email address and or phone number, depending on how you want to reach out to them. And what's good about using FindEmail for that here is that the contact information is already verified. And so I can use the email address that will be provided by FindEmail right away. I don't have to use a separate email verification tool because the email address I know has already been verified by FindEmail. I can use it in an email right away, and I know it won't be an invalid email, like it can sometimes happen depending on the data provider. And so this is what it would look like if you had to create a new monitor. And I want to show you now the results, like what you will be looking for. And so I created this exact monitor a few days ago just so it has time to collect some data. Let me show you how it looks like. So I created this monitor where I'm looking for the keywords video editor and contract. And you can see already that I have 55 signals in just a couple of days. And so if I click on it, now I'm arriving on the signal feed. And so this is all the signals that have been collected by FindEmail on that monitor. And you can see here that I have the exact post that is matching my keywords with the keyword specifically highlighted to show me like why it matched. I have the exact name of the author, I have their position, so job title at the company, I have the company name, I have their company information automatically enriched. So I know that this is a company in India with 200 to 500 employees in the IT and services industry. And I have the AI scoring here, so out of 5, so it's a 4 out of 5 here. And with the one-line reasoning about like why AI thinks this post is relevant for me. And so you can see here, like the post is for a contract to hire a video editor fitting the user's criteria, aka me. And so you can see here that yes, like I'm looking for, we are hiring for a YouTube video editor specialist for a contract to hire based in Mumbai, blah blah blah. So contractor, let's see what we have. It's the same posted by someone else from the same company. So 3 months contract, immediate requirements, basic video editor to help with a simple editing task that needs to be completed today. So you can see how like important timing is, because if you reach out to that person just like tomorrow, it's gone. Like it's gone. But because I've seen it today, like we're the 10th of March and it is the 10th of March, like this just got created, I can reach out already today and grab that job. And so you can see all those posts that are relevant. So let's see if it found some irrelevant posts. So let's say, for example, here, this post was matching my keywords. Like it contained video editor and contract. But this person it's not about hiring a freelancer. It's just like a generic post about, you know, you need to agree in payment before starting the work, blah, blah, blah. And so this got flagged as AI by the AI as not relevant, which is true. Like this isn't the kind of post that is interesting to me, even though it matches the right keywords. And so this saves me a bunch of time. I can just select only the 4 and 5 and I will only see relevant posts for me. And you can see here that we also have the email enriched sometimes when it is available. And so I can literally just click here and write the email right away to the person and pitch my service basically. Okay, so this is great. Now we have a daily feed of hyper relevant signals delivered daily that I can reach out to. But it's still very manual for me to reach out to those leads. I need to either go on LinkedIn and send them a message or click on the email here, write the email and send the email. So what we're going to do there is take it one step further and automate the email outreach automatically. And so for that, we're going to use an automation tool called N18. So if you haven't heard about N18 before, it's basically a no-code automation tool where you can connect different tools together and make them interact in a specific workflow. So the way we're going to use it here is very simple. So if you go on N18, what we're going to use is a webhook. And so what a webhook is basically something that listens to specific events. And so exactly what will happen here is that we'll set up a specific webhook, which is like a URL that is listening for events, and we'll send all those signals to that N18 webhook. And then from that, we can then take action immediately when we receive a signal. And so when you're on the webhook, you get a specific URL created by N18. And so you will copy that. And then on Find Email, if you go to the monitor, at the time when you create a monitor, there is a specific step called delivery that I've skipped previously, but it's actually very interesting, where you can input a webhook URL here. And so here you paste your webhook URL and save it. And there it will send all the signals to that URL. And you can then use that in your N18 workflow. And so based on that, I can, for example, connect a Gmail node to send an email automatically when I'm receiving a specific signal. And so the workflow that I can do here, but the limit is your imagination. I can automatically write an email to reach out to that specific person and offer a service super quickly. And so if I know the signal is relevant, I can just say, so you will see to connect your email address and so on. There you will have the data once you received a specific signal. I don't have it yet, but you would drag the email address that has been enriched by Find Email here. And you could write a post being like your post, because it references that you've seen their LinkedIn post that just posted. So it's still top of mind. And you would write your email here saying like, hey, first name. So you would have the first name from the event as well. Hey, first name, I saw you were looking to hire a video editor, I can help you there. Here's my portfolio. Well, you can even improve, like I can help you here because XYZ. Here's my portfolio, and you would put your portfolio URL, whatever, you know, and let me know if that's worth a chat. Just a random email like this. You don't have to say much because your offer and the timing makes 95% of the work. You don't have to do anything. Like, the person is looking to buy your service, you provide your service, and hopefully you have some proof that you're good at what you're doing. And from there, like, it should be a very high close rate because this is super relevant. So you don't have to do anything fancy as far as the copywriting is concerned. Like, the signal is doing the work for you. And then enjoy. Just send them a message and close all those new deals. So I hope this workflow will be super useful for you. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I've put all the links to the different tools I mentioned in this video in the description, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the other video.